This is Ashton Markus, and I'm on location at VS Theater for their presentation of Cal in Camo.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Bree Turner. We're here at Cal in Camo opening night. I played Cal. I did not wear any camo. No, we're here for opening night. Cal is a woman who is in deep crisis, reflecting on where she came from and where she's going. She's buried a lot of secrets, and the birth of her child has kind of broken her open, and so she's free-falling at the moment and grasping to try to hold on to something to save her life.
Well, I love the performance. I love your performance also. But actually, I got a question for you. I know you're in Grimm, a recurring character.
I was a series regular.
Yeah, series regular. So you're a well-known face. You can do a lot of things. Of all the things you want, why do you want to do this?
Well, I was on a show for 6.5 years, and you get a little cushy sometimes when you're on a TV show. And I really wanted to take a risk and get scared again, remind myself, why I became an actress in the first place, and that's to get on stage. And there's nothing riskier than getting on stage and having a new experience with each performance. And I also really, really identified with Cal, and I think Billy, the playwright, wrote a brilliant piece with just a lot of things in the soup, and you can't quite pinpoint. The alchemy of the piece is, I think, left to interpretation for each individual seeing it. So I think that's also just a very cool way to tell a story.
Well, I love this story because basically, it's about family, and sometimes my wife and I have problems. One thing interesting about my wife, she never tells me anything about her childhood, and that is just bizarre. Because every now and then she does this weird thing. Every now and then, what's this coming from? And I think that's the reason. Is because she had so much trauma. She won't talk about it. And we're kind of living through it right now.
That's interesting. That's a lot for you guys. I think we don't give enough weight to our childhoods, and I think that's also what's being pushed here between the siblings, between Cal and Flint, is that they are they going to redefine their life? Are they going to fall prey to what they feel is destiny, or are they going to blaze a new path and rewrite their story? And I think everyone's path is different. Some people can, and some people struggle with that choice. So I think the confronting nature of burying your past really comes to light in this piece.
Yeah, I love the way you guys played, because it was kind of like it's not too unrealistic. It's not like this is going to be happily ever after. It's not like that. It was more like they're going through stuff, but they're just working through it day by day. They're taking the first step, and that's all you see. You see them take the first step.
Oh, that's great. That is awesome that you got that, because that is definitely, we did not want it to end on some saccharine, like, oh, it's all wrapped up with a bow. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen here, and I think that's the point. And it is just day by day, little by little, coming together and trying to communicate better.
Once again, love the performance. Really dramatic, really soul-crushing. I love pieces like this. I loved your performance also.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Nice talking with you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Tim Cummings. It's our opening night. I'm so thrilled that we've launched this play. It's been an extraordinary journey getting it up, and tonight was sort of the culmination of all of our hard work and focus, and just thrilled.
Great. And which character did you play?
I play Flint. Flint is a really compelling character, very mercurial. He lives in stillness. He's dealing with grief. And it's almost like his world is a strange fever dream. He just lost his wife in a flood, and he comes to see his estranged sister, and these sort of biblical or apocalyptic or spiritual events take place that offer him an unexpected redemption. And it's such an honor and a privilege and a challenge to play this role. Working with that stillness, working with a sort of ongoing running monologue, and this feeling of being haunted, but needing that redemption, right? So he's a really interesting guy to inhabit each time that I step into these camouflage overalls. And visually, the play gives you so much between, especially with his costumes, with his coveralls in the beginning, and then he's soaking wet and bloody and muddy at the end. The visuals are so strong that you don't have to put too much else on it,
I love the way you played that character. It was beautiful because, in a sense, it was kind of because they talked a lot about his sister losing her mother and not being able to relate, but he lost his mother too.
Yes,
and it was like
they're orphans.
Exactly, it was like, and no one taught him how to grow up. It was like he was by himself. It doesn't even sound like he had parents, and it was like, it's almost like he was a prophet of old, where he was just floating like Moses down like a basket. You got to grow up yourself.
Yeah, it's very biblical. It's very biblical, and yes, they're orphans. And one of the most interesting things is that he parked his trailer in a floodplain, and she bought a house on a sinkhole. This weird, quiet, hidden psychology of feeling like maybe if you're an orphan, life doesn't give you much, and you take what you can get. You feel like maybe you deserve to live in a floodplain or to buy a house on a sinkhole. That's so prophetic, that aspect of it, between the brother and sister. I mean, ultimately, I think this is a really interesting story about family. It's about a lot of things, but I think at the heart of it, there's family. Because there's a marriage, there's a sibling relationship, there's a mother and daughter relationship, there's Flint and losing his wife relationship. There's so much family in it. And then all of the nature, right? There's like an environmental message at the heart of it. It's also very timely, because if you look at what's happening out in the world with all of these environmental disasters, with our floods and our hurricanes, it's so timely to be doing this right now, because outside of the sensational images and interviews we see in the media about people who've lost their whole lives, this is a more intimate glimpse into people who've lost loved ones and their whole lives because of what's happening with the environment. It's really beautiful.
Well, I love the way you play it, because I have a lot of friends who are like that, where their parents kind of, I wouldn't say abandoned them, they kind of like just worked and let their kids take care of themselves and all that.
Yeah.
And they never were taught social manners or how to go out and play.
Right.
They had to grow up by themselves, and it was like, I see that in your character. It's like, I see him just standing there staring at the forest. It's like, who does that? Unless, again, you did that when you were a child, and because no one was around to raise you. So I love things like that, little things like that you embodied inside the character.
Yeah, his loneliness. It's palpable. And we had to find a way to get that across. And the stillness, his stillness, and his reticence are sort of his most powerful feature. Really fantastic.
Yeah. One last question. If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
If viewers come by to see the piece, I think they can expect a flood of the heart. Be prepared for a flood of the heart.
Once again, love the performance. I really loved your performance.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you once again for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And come on down and see the show, everyone. It's amazing. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with?
Hey, Brad Reiter. Well, we're just really excited that we got through opening of this show. It's incredibly complicated, but when done right, we think we pulled it off, and it's just a beautiful experience for actors and audience together. Incredibly emotional, smart, poetic, and really resonant, emotionally resonant. So it was a real thrill to have a full house and to hear people respond, and we're just really proud of it.
And which character did you play?
I play the role of Tim, and that's not to be confused with Tim Cummings, the actor who plays Flint. And Tim, for your listeners, is the recipient of 3 LADCC acting awards. So he is just a force of nature, and he and I went to school together, and we've been looking for a project for 20 years.
Okay, what's your take on your character, Tim?
I play a guy who is struggling to feed his family, and he's in a new place. He's out of his element. He feels helpless because his wife is dealing with postpartum depression, a very severe case, and there's an enormous amount of pressure in this family unit, and all hell breaks loose when Flint, Cal's brother, comes to the house, and the madness ensues.
I love this piece because it's about, if you have a broken family or you have problems with your family, which everyone does, you'll know what this is like. That's what it's about. It's my relationship with my wife, basically, she won't tell me anything about her family. You know what that's like? But she does these bizarre things. I have no idea where it's coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We all have secrets, and this play is as much about secrets as it is about family, and the secrets we keep from each other, and the pain and the trauma that many of us are holding on to. So we hope that this experience lets people know that there is healing on the other side, especially with a past as troublesome as Cal's.
Yeah, and also I like your character because your character is actually the audience. I mean, basically Cal and your wife, they have the problems, but you're the audience walking into this. What's going on?
Yeah, it's true. That's a really good point. He's the outsider here. Even though he's married into the family, he's kind of learning a lot about what this family unit is all about. And, I don't want to say too much because I want people to be surprised and, to really enjoy the narrative, which is, brilliant. I think Billy Hoffman, who wrote this play, is just a genius, and he was gracious enough to give us his play to do the West Coast premiere.
Yeah, once again, I love the performance. I loved your performance too. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Andrew Thatcher.
Great. Can I get either a brief bio of you, an introduction, or just anything you want to say?
Oh my gosh. The thing is, I've lived so long, there's so much to say, so I want to make sure I don't say something stupid, which I probably just already did, and so all of you people who are listening are probably going to laugh at me and be like, who's this fool he's introducing to us? How about I'm so grateful to be here, and this has been a wonderful experience, and I can't wait for it to continue. Well, tomorrow, we have a 3 o'clock show. Come see us. Come hear us. What else can I say?
Okay, so which character did you play?
I play the bar owner. At the top of the play, the character of Tim has I won't say anything. He has an encounter with the bar owner that helps set up some things in the plot. It's very cinematic, I noticed about the play. The play is a wonderful piece of theater, obviously, but it's kind of cinematic in that there's that little episode at the beginning that gives rise to some things that come down the pike later. I could easily see this being turned into a film. Like, there's something we talked about, like, wouldn't this be an interesting film at some point? But the play is tremendous, and it's very moving, and it delves deeply into these personal issues that these characters have. And I was brought in a little bit late in the game and kind of had to get up to speed, but they've been so welcoming, and I had such a wonderful time. I think audiences will be absolutely knocked out by it. This is acting and writing and staging at its highest level here in LA. So, yeah, I couldn't be prouder to be here.
I've had problems with my personal life. My family, my childhood, my wife's family, my wife's childhood. I get this play. I mean, I get what it means because there's subtle things. You see idiosyncrasies about a person. Where the heck does this come from? It comes from those problems, right? You think the audience will get it? You think the audience will get it?
Oh my gosh, I absolutely do. I mean, there are unique elements there are interesting and unusual elements to this play. People think, oh, I've never experienced a character like this before, but the feelings that are so raw and so honest on that stage, and the relationship between Cal and Flint. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's so powerful. And, of course, between Cal and Tim, I think people will definitely be able to see parts of themselves on that stage, absolutely. And you really can't turn away. You can't look away. And yet you might shift in your seat a little bit like, oh, my gosh, they're going to some dark places, but wonderful places as well. Very revealing places and vulnerable places. And it's very truthful, very honest about facing the pain of the past and how we're going to deal with that and move toward the future, hopefully. And I think people will definitely be able to identify with it. And there's some very funny moments, some moments that'll kind of turn you on your head, like, what? I can't believe that. And I look forward to hearing more audience reaction. We had wonderful reaction tonight. You guys were such a good audience. Thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing more from the audience in the future, because they're right there. It's one of those nice little black box theaters where you won't miss a thing. And so the intimacy of that, I think, is something that's very special.
I know Cal and Flynn were actually opposites.
Well, they've had very different upbringings and have dealt with loss in very different ways. And they're both searching for something in the play. And the audience will have to come and find out if they find it. But they're both in a very lost and lonely place. And the immediacy of that is palpable as soon as they start in their scene together. And the irony also, as people will see, is the character of Tim is also in a very lonely and lost place, even though this is what I see anyway, he perhaps does not even realize it. He thinks he's got it all figured out. But by the end of the play, he realizes the value of what he has, of what he needs to hold on to as well. And it's just wonderful to see how things are resolved. Not everything is resolved, but enough is resolved where oh gosh, I don't want to say too much. But I just love the way it weaves their lives in and out, and the interesting twists and turns that lead to some wonderful and very stark revelations about each other and about their lives. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm playing a small role, but it's an important role. But I've learned so much by watching these other artists, and they've been so generous with me. So I feel very much a part of the family that I came into, like I said, a little bit late. And I look forward to more and more and more. So,
well, I love the performance also.
Thank you.
And I loved your performance.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you later.
My name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. Now I'm here with...
Oh, William Hoffman.
Great. And what did you do tonight?
Tonight I didn't do much at all, but at one point in my life I wrote Cal and Camel.
Question. Why did you decide to write this piece?
I can't really answer that, other than I was caught by a feeling, caught by a moment that I saw within myself, and I did my very best to write a play around that moment that I believed in.
Well, this touched me in several ways. One thing is, again, sometimes I have problems with my wife. Oddest thing in the world, she will not tell me anything about her childhood. And every now and then she does this bizarre thing. I said, where does this come from? I saw that tonight. I saw that tonight in your characters.
Oh, that's so great. I'm so glad to hear that, because that is, that means more to me than anything. So,
okay, I guess because you and I understand that because I saw the play. My viewers probably don't get it, but it's because of family. It's because of bizarre things. Like another thing, I have a lot of friends who basically kind of, their parents worked, right? So they kind of just left their kids. We're talking like 5. They left their kids at home to watch TV. It's illegal now, but back then that's what they did, right? These kids were never taught social things. They were never taught to grow up, and they did things that they somehow became adults without anyone teaching them. I saw that tonight.
Oh, that's so great. I think, I understand that, and the folks in this play that I know that most remind me of these characters lived things like that, where the traditional family wasn't strong, and so you do the best you can with the pieces that you have to try and put a story together for yourself, because I think that's deeply important. Who am I if I have no story? And I'll take whatever I have and build it out of that. And if I find one truthful thing that I connect to about my past, then I build it on that.
Yeah. Also, I hear you're also on a new TV series now.
I wrote a TV series that I am in the process of finishing, and we're looking to take out this year. So it's something brand new for me and very exciting, and it'll be interesting to see that shift, because it's my first one, but I'm excited as hell about it. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, what's the name of the show?
I can't say yet. As of of now Untitled? I can't say yet, but I will say soon.
Yeah. Once again, I love the performance. I love the drama behind it.
Yeah.
Again, if you have a dysfunctional family, and now you look at it, I'm not the only one out there, because that's what you see. And the subtle, I mean, if you really get that if you see this thing, and that's what I love about this piece.
Yes, say that again. What did you say?
Basically, if you have a dysfunctional family, you will see little things like someone just staring out in the forest. Who stares out in the forest? They're not enjoying this. They're doing this because of their childhood. Other things like when you can't bond with your daughter. Again, I just love the piece. I just love what you wrote.
Thank you so much. And this ensemble is as good as it gets for me. So I'm thrilled to sit back there and watch it myself every night. Watch what they find. It's different every time. So I'm thrilled. It's a ride every single time.
Yeah. Once again, love the performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Nice talking to you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with.
I'm James Rodet. I'm the co-artistic director for Red Dog Squadron, who produced the play tonight.
Well, so basically, I hear you're actually off on a series right now. You just came back.
Yes, I'm working on a series in Vancouver called A Million Little Things, but my heart is with this beautiful group of artists, and I flew in today for the opening.
Great. So what about this piece? I mean, were you involved in this piece? Why did you want to come back for this piece?
It's been 5 years since we produced a show in Los Angeles. We started in 2001, and for reasons that I will not bore you with, we've been dark for almost 5 years, and it's been painful. But this play was sort of the reason that we were like, okay, we got to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and produce theater again in this town. And a lot of it had to do with the play itself. It's a beautiful play, but it's also shining a light on an issue that for me is very. It's very important, and that's the idea of undiagnosed postpartum depression, and it's a dialogue that needs to have started a long time ago, and anything that I think any of us can do to sort of push it up to the forefront and say, hey, this is real, we should do. So that was a lot of it, and we were also just fans of the play, and we also knew that we could put together an amazing group of people to do it. Yeah.
So if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, then what should they expect to see?
A play where humanity faces adversity and wins.
I actually love this piece because, again, obviously I don't come from an ideal family either. There's certain things about my family that just kind of rung tonight. It's like, why does someone just sit there staring at the forest? And it's not he's enjoying the scenery. No, it's something about his childhood he's reliving. And, you get that if you understand this thing. And it's just something that I don't see in other places because other people, maybe, I don't know why. Maybe it's just not fashionable. Maybe it's just no one gets it, but I got it.
Billy Hoffman is a gifted writer, and what he did with this piece is he said, hey, here's 3 people. I'm not going to give you a bunch of complicated plot twists. I'm not going to bury you in narrative. I'm going to give you 90 minutes of 3 people who are desperate to connect with one another or something, and I'm just going to turn them loose. And that's why I think the play works. And these 3 actors specifically trusted the play. They trusted Billy's writing. They trusted each other. And that's really all you need to create beautiful theater, man.
Well, I love it. I thought it was fantastic.
I'm so glad that you had a good time, man. Yeah, please tell everybody.
Okay. Thank you very much for being on the show.
You got it, brother. Thank you.
Cal in Camo will be playing at VS Theater from October 13th to November 9th. For more information, go to www.reddogsquadron.com. This is Ashton Markus, and I'm on location at the Stephanie Fury Theater for the world premiere of Double Play.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Dennis Danziger. I'm the writer of the play, and I am really lucky that I met 3 people from the Ammunition Theater Company. Matthew Levitt, who's the director. I saw him direct a staged reading, and the staged reading was so good, with actors just standing there. I went, this guy's got to do my play. And he read it, and he liked it, and he brought me these wonderful people. And it's been better than I could have imagined.
So, question: why did you decide to write this piece anyway?
I wrote Act 1 between 1978 and 1980. It was performed in 1980. I grew up in Texas as an Astro fan. Hated the Yankees. Loathed the Yankees. They're the enemy. But I was at a place called HB Playwrights. I'd moved there, and none of the other writers or actors would go to baseball games with me. I was a baseball fan, and so I would go by myself, and I fell in love with the Yankees. They were wonderful. And the story I tell, I was there by myself one day, and the Yankees were destroying the Tigers. It was a pennant race, and during the 7th inning stretch, people, instead of singing this Take Me Out to the Ball Game, began yelling, "Boston sucks, Boston sucks." And I went, they're so rude, they're vile, and I want to be part of them. And I became, for those 4 years, I just love the Yankees.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see two very lonely people in their late 20s who may have never had a second date or not had a date in 3 or 4 years, who are deeply isolated from the social world. And I think through their interaction, their argument, and through that mock game of baseball, we actually see two people who you think will never fall in love find each other and fall in love right in front of your eyes.
You know, I'm actually surprised at how well everything tied in together, because basically it was actually a fairly short piece. Mm-hmm. It actually developed into their lives pretty well, and actually the lines just connected themselves. Like at the beginning, I could see them fighting. I saw afterwards, after the intermission, I saw, yeah, obviously they got together. But all the lines just fell in place there. And obviously, there were opposites, obviously. And, it was just so charmingly built together.
Thank you. A lot of it has to do with these two actors, with Kim and Johnny, because this is the first time Act 2 has ever been done, and I wrote it 32 years later after I wrote Act 1, and I had no idea what it was going to be like. And I don't think I could get two better actors. You saw them. You believe they're married. You believe they've had this life together, and you believe as Yankee Stadium has been falling apart, and as we're in the Bush recession, their marriage is going to fall apart unless they find something right there in front of you. So we see them fall in love in Act 1, and we see them hang on to their marriage late in life in Act 2.
And even though we ended at a certain point in time with some questions unanswered, I think they'll do okay. They're tough people. You know what I mean? They'll get along. They'll figure something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think these two are till death do you part, and I think his being able to love what she loves, which is baseball. Not even so much the Yankees, but baseball. They understand that he came from this world of I just exist from the head up, and that he took on her world, and Yankee Stadium became their shrine, their sanctuary. I think they'll make it. Yeah, they're kind of sweet.
Well, I really enjoyed the performance. I really enjoyed the performance of the actors. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. A pleasure.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Kim Hamilton. I'm originally from New Jersey. I've been doing theater forever, since I was a baby girl. And funny enough, I used to work at Yankee Stadium as a bartender at Billy's Sports Bar. So this play has kind of come full circle.
Great. And which character do you play?
I play Rosalie Manisi. She's a tough broad who's had a rough go at it. She grew up without a mother and her father on the road playing baseball, and that kind of became her life, and he died when she was real young, and she kind of just had to figure it out in the Bronx, and Yankees became her life and her home and everything she kind of lives for. It's a bit of a loner.
I thought of her as a person who, baseball kind of filled a void in her life. Mm-hmm. Things she couldn't explain. It's like, a sense of belonging, a sense of family, maybe a sense of community?
Yep, totally. Sense of community. Like, she comes to every game, sits on that blanket. She's always first in line. Everyone knows her. They all know her name. They're like, if Rosalie wasn't there at that ticket booth, I think they would probably all think she died or something. And that's her family and her friends. And then, she ends up owning the bar across the street. She's kind of a rock star for the better half of her life at that bar. And then it gets shut down and her world comes crashing down around her. Because, the Yankees Stadium is her life.
I actually went to the Niners game. A friend of mine back when they were really good, and friends of mine had actually season tickets. It was almost like going to church for some people.
It is. It totally is. You know what's funny? Because I've never been to a Dodgers game, and I went to an Angels-Yankees game out here. And that stadium, I don't know, felt a little sterile, and there were way more Yankee fans than there were Angel fans, which didn't surprise me. But Yankee Stadium, the first time I went in, one of my regulars brought me a ticket, and I walked in, and I lost my mind and my breath. And there's something about it where everything stops. It's just magnificent and glorious and spiritual.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think they expect to see two lonely people connecting, and it's nice, especially now in the climate of just the world. It's just kind of a nice getaway. It's a sweet story. It has heart. It's funny. It's sad. It makes you think. It's a really nice, lovely night of theater.
Double Play will be playing at the Stephanie Fury Theater from October 5th to October 28th. For more information, go to www.doubleplay.brownpapertickets.com.